everyone. Happy Friday to you. Thank you for watching. We hope you had another long, amazing week because we're living in some really fun and interesting times, aren't we, Dr. Murphy?
Bonding.
Yes. So, while maybe some of you at home, maybe some of you aren't, you don't have a lot to do. So maybe you're watching this video. And if not, then clearly we are real far down the pole of
if you're
good
watching
things.
this video, the end is near.
The end is near. So everyone, thank you for watching. And this is Free Advice Friday. So what happens is we ask him questions because he is a doctor of medicine. So he's qualified to talk about things that I am not. Would you agree with that?
There's a lot of things I'm probably qualified to talk about that you're not.
Well, I'm sure you could. Like cars.
Like life.
Well, I disagree
Whether
on the
you're
life
female
thing.
or male, I mean, we can get real basic.
I can talk about a lot of things you can't, but you can talk a lot of
I'm
things.
sure you
so
could. And I'm sure nobody else would understand you
We
either.
all have a place in this world.
Yes, we do.
And ours are very different places.
Yes, yours
and
is
that's
a parallel
okay.
universe kind of outside the realm
Exactly.
of reality.
I am an alien.
And
you are just a simple human. So, I was sent to the world to bring joy. And the first question I'm going to ask you
I haven't
today.
felt it yet, but okay.
Well, you cannot receive joy. There's something blocking that on you. It's not my fault. All right, you ready for your question?
Yes.
So your first question is today. Why is it that when it's very hot out, like say 90 degrees, that we get hot when we are 98.7 degrees, technically, or somewhere around that? Why do we get hot? This is a question. I didn't ask it. I found it.
It's because you don't have any joy in your heart.
Do you remember Ren and Stimpy? Happy, happy, joy.
No,
joy.
there's a difference between heat and when you're feeling hot.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you're outside, it's 90 degrees. It's because the sun is hitting you, so you're actually
Yeah.
absorbing a lot more energy in your thing.
Yeah.
And it's your body's trying to cool you down real quick.
Okay. To regulate our temperature. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next question is this. I know, that was a stretch. I had to find that question. It wasn't submitted, I'll be honest. The next question that I'm going to ask you about is this. They say that there's a new magnet, so new technology when it comes to MRIs that won't replace the current technology but might enhance what we currently have. Can you explain that?
They're coming up with new technologies all the time.
All the time.
And this is just a stronger, think of it as an almost nuclear powered magnet. And it's going to reduce the size of MRIs from room size down to laptop size.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, not even smaller, but I don't know how practical it'll be.
So it'll just be a cost savings?
I don't think it's going to be a cost savings. These things are going to be
crazy expense.
I don't think you're going to find it at your local physician's office anytime soon. But, I think, that it'll be after I retire that they probably come into existence.
Yeah.
In 20 years.
So the goal is mostly just making this technology more functional.
Well, it is, Michelle. I mean, even now, because you sometimes actually do something here in the healthcare field at our office. And, with those little finger pulse ox things that we put on her. When I first started medicine, I mean, these things were the size of a suitcase.
Really?
Yeah, and they eventually contract them down.
Technology shrinks down.
And back then, in order to get a blood test and do all this neat laboratory stuff that we were able to do, I mean, these were big machines that were in these big labs. And my God, they can put them in a little pocket-sized machine and you just take a drop of blood and I get a complete chemistry readout of everything in your body. And you look at now that, on TV, they got the cardiac rhythm, put your fingers on the little thing and it gives you a rhythm strip. It's not truly an EKG, but I suspect in the near future you'll be able to get an EKG, right off your phone. So
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's some new technologies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking forward to the day where someone's going to send me an EKG like that on the internet and they're going to say, "What's wrong with me?" I'm going to say, "You're having a heart attack. Go to the hospital."
Go to the hospital now. Yeah, that of course the app will probably be. What's going to be interesting? This is a topic for another day. But AI and medicine, we should probably talk about it sometime. But
I think
at some point,
talking about suing AI.
Well,
when they get the diagnosis wrong.
I'm sure. Well, but see, they talk about it a lot in the law too. So before I worked here, now I wasn't an attorney or anything, but I worked for a law firm of sorts. And one of the things we talked about a lot was AI and the law and how basically you can generate the same types of information that maybe you could go and find from an attorney that would cost you a lot of money, or maybe the attorneys could even be using it to make sure that they have a full picture of whatever it is that needs to happen with whatever that potential client is or whatever the case is. That just helps to improve, number one, your ability to figure out exactly what needs to happen for your client, but also just you can scour much more information in a rapid amount of time.
Well, I think it's an evolutionary thing, and I think there is somewhat AI out there right now. With Google, you plug in left-sided pain, and you get all these responses that come up.
Yeah.
It certainly takes some intuition and some experience to interpret that data too.
Yeah.
I mean, when somebody comes in, well, I Googled, I got left-sided chest pain, and my first answer was I might have a steel post stuck in my chest.
Yeah.
Okay,
Probably not. And that's a lot what they talked about too. They talked about how, it's going to take a little bit of time, and some of it's going to have to be a little bit of a human technology partnership to really get everything.
Medicine's a little bit more complicated than the legal system.
Yeah.
So.
It is, but we're moving in that direction. So
it's interesting.
Here it is.
Technology, when I started in medicine, it was probably doubling in its knowledge base, probably once every 8 years. My God, now it's doing it every year. Now it's going to be down to every.
It's just constant changing.
Yeah. New stuff comes out, new medicines come out, and people are like, "What do you think of this?" I have no clue what you're talking about. I better go look it up.
Yeah.
Come to find out it's a drug that's been out for 6 months. No, I've never heard of it.
You know what I think is also another interesting part about technology is that I believe, for example, you can bring a patient in and do an assessment of that individual without any of that. You can tell a lot as a person because of your training.
Mm-hmm.
However, I feel like some younger physicians now that really rely, or even anyone in the medical field at all, that really relies on this technology to function properly and to give them those readings they need, whatever the thing may be, I feel like they're not able to look at a patient and do the same thing that you're able to do because they rely so much on technology to provide them with the types of information that they need.
Well, yeah, I know. I think part of it is I call it just deductive reasoning. I just cancel out everything that it more than likely is not, and I just keep plowing through it, and you finally get to something that's like, well, that sure sounds like it now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really kind of tough, but you're right. I mean, some of these younger physicians and stuff, they rely so much on technology. I think it makes them dysfunctional.
Well,
but the other thing I'll tell you too is because I don't do that, my ability to make quick decisions rapidly and just reason it out of my mind can work a lot quicker than their little fingers can do the typing.
Yeah, because you also have to know what types of questions to ask.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, you can have the greatest piece of technology in the world. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of technology and increasing technology in medicine and whatever the field is. I think it's important.
It has its place and it has its limits.
You have to know what to do with it, and and it also has to function properly, because otherwise you might be really stuck. But I think one simple example of this, and then we should probably end this video, is a strep test. A lot of people who think they need to have they think they might have strep throat, they think they need to have a test, when in fact, if you come in and you're assessed by a doctor who's worth anything, they should be able to tell you that without giving you a test and then charging you for that test unnecessarily.
And you're correct, okay. But the other thing is you could have strep and the test be negative, and it's typically negative 10 to 15% of the time. So what do? The test says I have strep, but or you don't have strep, but I'm looking at a mouth saying, that's strep.
You totally have strep, yeah.
Well, when the test says I don't, well, the test is wrong. Well, how can the test be wrong? Well, all tests are not 100% medicine.
Yeah. And so I think it's important that it's just, at least that's, I feel like, where we're at with technology on a lot of levels, is that you still need a person who's smart enough and who knows what they're doing.
And can't do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there you have it, everyone. That was so riveting, this conversation.
I
feel the joy too. Well, I've got the joy down in my heart.
No, I don't have
Where?
much.
Okay, well, anyway. Well, we hope you have the joy down in your heart. And if you don't, well, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't.
Stay focused.
Yeah. All right. right, everyone. Well, thanks for watching, and we will see you Monday for Mythbuster Monday.